What's going on, everybody? It's EricRayweather back here, and in today's video, I'm going to be testing out the new patch or title update that just took place yesterday. Going to be going over some of the things that was in it, seeing how the game has changed because of it, seeing, if the changes were good, if they were bad, are they working properly, and things like that. So if you did miss yesterday's video, I went over the new title update. If you haven't seen that, I would suggest to watch that before you watch this, just because you'll be more up to date and understand what I'm talking about. I'll link that in the description and in the comments. You can check that out. But yesterday we had the biggest, probably, update to the game thus far in terms of impact. We got some new things like duos and mud squads and things like that. But mainly, I want to go over some of the gameplay updates and just see how they've changed. So first thing we're going to test out is the big nickel over G block shed defense. So this was really, becoming a popular thing online. I posted about it, a few weeks ago myself because it was effective. There were ways to stop it, but still wasn't, the way it was happening, it wasn't supposed to happen. So basically what you would do out of nickel G is you would pinch your line, you would crash them up, and then you would just kind of hover over this DT. And what would happen were the defensive ends would block shed almost instantly, and they would do it the exact same way every single time. They would get an outside rush, the tackle would put a hand on him briefly, and then he would just turn away and let him go, and you really didn't have much time in the pocket. And not that block shed is necessarily a bad thing, but they would just do it way too quick, and it would be the same exact way every single time, no matter really what you did for the most part. So let's see now. What's happening is you see they're still getting that outside rush, but they're just being held there, and it's taking, it took Vic Beasley there quite a bit to block shed. So let's check the replay real quick, and then we're going to test it a little bit more. So you see they still get that initial outside rush. So this is what would happen before the patch. They would get this outside rush. So we take it right here. As soon as they would get to about right here, both of the tackles would just let them go, and the defensive ends would walk into the backfield. When there's no reason for them to be letting them go. There's nobody else that they even need to worry about. So now you see they're holding on to their blocks. They're making the defensive ends work. They're not letting them go. And you see they hold the blocks for a while, and then eventually Vic Beasley there block shed. So that's good. We'll try it out a few more times just to make sure that it is thorough. And then I want to actually check something else out just to see just block shed in general. So you see here, let's see. Now that time, okay, they got the outside rush. They got it. Now they block shedded pretty quickly that time. That's not how it worked before, though. They still both fought their way to the inside, but that's still a relatively pretty quick block shed. So let's try again. Wasn't as bad as last time, but it was still, pretty quick. Now you see here again, they're holding up, and there the defensive tackle eventually came free, which is fine. So it looks like that is definitely fixed. That is taken care of. That's a good thing. I didn't mind this defense as much because, like I said, there were ways around it. To buy time in the pocket, but definitely now it seems like, now I want to test some other stuff out, because what it feels like to me right there is not only did they fix the block shed with this, but it just feels like that they kind of toned block shed down in general, because in practice mode especially, you typically, as long as I was standing in the pocket those couple of times there, you usually do not have anywhere close to that in practice mode. If you guys have watched my videos enough, you've seen me complain about the practice mode block shed a lot. So the fact that I had that much time is kind of making me wonder, did they dial back just block shed in general? So I'm going to try something out of nickel normal here, because as some of you may or may not know, nickel normal is just one of those formations for years that just, it always block sheds very quickly, especially in practice mode. In practice mode, this formation block shed's crazy, and that's because the alignment of the defensive ends being on the outside, they're kind of a little bit wider in nickel normal than they are in other formations. Typically in other formations, the defensive end will be more lined up kind of like this, a little bit closer to the inside. But in nickel normal, they get more of a wide rush. And this formation is just always one that block sheds very quickly. So I'm curious to see if this formation still block sheds quickly or not. And you see, right there, that was a pretty quick block shed by Vic Beasley there. And this is very typical for nickel normal. And it's been like this for years. At least the past few years that I can tell. You see, he gets a block, but he fights free. It's not glitching, so to speak. He's not letting him go, but it just seems like the defensive ends just get better. They get better rushes out of nickel normal for some reason. So I'm curious to see, if this still block sheds well. You see, now right here, that's a lot of time. That usually doesn't happen. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe block shed in general has been toned back, but we'll see. I want to test it a little bit. You see, that's a lot of time. In practice mode, you know, if you play practice mode, if you like lab a lot like I do, or even if you watch my videos, you know how often I complain about it. Because the block shit is just usually like 2 seconds flat almost every play or every other play they get to you. And right now, I feel like I'm just having a lot of time. Okay, that was good block shit there. He got a good rush. Let's try it a couple more times. But it feels like see what I'm saying? Like I'm getting good time. He got a reach tackle there, but I feel like I'm getting more time than I typically would get. And I spend a lot of time in practice mode, a lot of time in this game. Now that was a good rush there. So I don't know, maybe not completely. Maybe they didn't completely dial it back, but it feels a little bit more dialed back than what I'm used to. Like some of these plays here, I mean, I'm just sitting in this pocket way too long, and that's just not typical. So that's something to kind of monitor going forward, especially in games. It feels like block shit might have been dialed back just a little bit. Now, another thing I want to look at is contains, because they said that they changed contains to where they're not really going to rush anymore. They're not going to act like, blitzers like how they have been acting. They're going to take a wider stance now, and I guess, do what they're supposed to do, which is contain the QB, keep him in the pocket. They're only supposed to really be effective if you try to scramble outside of the pocket, whereas even after the initial contain blitz patch, they still would rush. Like, I was still playing and could get contains to rush in. It just wasn't as powerful as before. Now, see, now you can see they are staying pretty wide. They're not really rushing. And now, we got a block shed from the defensive end there. But we're going to test it a few times just to kind of see. So you got to contain a blitzer and bring these guys in to get them on their contains. And just going to keep trying to see what they do here. You see how they're kind of like going wide, and then they just like they're not like trying to disengage and rush in. Whereas before, if you've used them or if you've played against them, what the contains would do is kind of let me try to show you an example. So basically, what they would do is they kind of like start inside. And what they would do a lot of times is at the hike, they would kind of like slide out just a little bit, and then they just like start rushing down like that. They would just do like a little weird. It was almost glitchy the way they would just kind of like shuffle to the side a little bit, like boom, 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 and then they would just blitz down. And because of that, a lot of times they were just really hard to block. People wouldn't pick them up. Like, especially if I was blocking the running back to the right here and the contain came free on the left, the running back wouldn't be able to shoot over there and pick them up because of the way they would rush. So you see how that contain is just standing still right there? That is what the difference is. That's how contains used to work in the older Maddens, a few years back. This is what contains would do every time. If there was nobody here to like block them or put a hand on them, because you see here, like Vic Beasley gets to Ryan Ramczyk first, so he doesn't put a hand on him, and then Larry Warford here, number 67, he slides out, but there's no reason to put a hand on him yet because he's not rushing. So if you don't put a hand on him, he's just going to stand here like this. That's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to be, his job is to prevent, not that Drew Brees would roll out, but let's say that was Michael Vick or something instead, somebody like that, Russell Wilson, who's got scrambling ability. He's standing here to prevent him from rolling out. If he starts rolling out, then he attacks, and he doesn't allow him to get outside that pocket. That's what he's supposed to do. So that is different. Before, what would have happened right here is this guy would have started blitzing in right now. He would have acted like a pass rusher, and he would have got to the quarterback. Now, this contain over here, yes, he's getting blocked because there's only two guys here, and there's two blockers, so the left tackle is going to attack him and block him no matter what. But you see how he's just like remaining on this outside edge? Like, all he's trying to do is just be a force defender here. He's not trying to let Drew Brees, if he were to scramble, get out. So it definitely looks like the contains were fixed, so they're probably not going to really be very useful if you're trying to blitz with them, but still very useful in terms of keeping quarterbacks in the pocket. So the next thing I want to look at is, let's see, I want to look at cover 4 quarters now, because that was another big update that we got. So cover 4 quarter at the beginning of the year was terrible. There was a lot of bugs with it. Then they fixed it, made it viable. So what this is it's a man match defense. It's not a cover 4 drop. Those 4 deep zones, they will match and play man. And now it all depends on what type of routes you're using, the formations you're using. They're going to react differently, but they're going to man up and they're going to pass routes off. Now the quarter flat, for example, this guy right here, before the patch, he would not attack the flat aggressively. He would get to the flat very late. He would like backpedal, and then go to the flat if there was a flat route. But the flat route would already be all the way to the outside, so he would be a useless defender. He wouldn't be able to catch him. So if this is truly fixed, and there's a flat route, this guy should immediately start shooting to the flat to play that. So what we're going to do is set up a basic flood concept that you would see out of this, that a lot of people like to run: the fade, the corner route, and the flat route. So if this performs like it's supposed to, this outside guy right here, True Font, he should take the corner route because that corner is breaking to the outside. Austin Carr, True Font should man up on that. This safety here, Richards, he should man up on the vertical route, which is Michael Thomas on the fade. And this guy right here should go match the flat route to Benjamin Watson if it's performing like it's supposed to. So let's see. And that is exactly what happens. And you see we try to throw the flat, and that gets picked. And that is great news because cover 4 quarters is now fully going to be a very good defense to use, actually. And just like I said what would happen, this is what happens here. So you see out here, you see initially he starts to go with Michael Thomas, but as soon as he sees that corner route breaking out, and this is why this is better than typical zone defense, because a typical zone defense, True Font would usually keep running back with this. But because this is a man match defense, he says, "Oh no, I got a corner route. I got to get on that now. This is my job." And then this safety says, "Okay, well, you pass him off to me. I'll take him." And then this guy down here is like, "Okay, well, I got the flat route." And then over here, this cornerback's like, "Okay, well, I have this one wide receiver over here. I'm going to take him." And then these guys pretty much double him because, like, there's nobody else for this safety to have to worry about. So he kind of just stays in his area. So that's really good. So why this is so big is because, okay, let's run it again. Same thing. We're going to run it again. So we know that the flat route's being, okay, that time he left the flat wide open. Now that's not supposed to happen. Now that's bad. So it looks like there might still be a bug here. The first time he played it like he was supposed to. This time, I'm not sure what happened. He just started, like, this is kind of weird. So that's really bad right there. That's a bug right there. But let's try it again. Let's see if that's a consistent bug. Okay, that time he got back to the flat. That's good. So you see, I try to throw this corner out here. True Font's all over that. He's all over it. Now, this is the difference. This is why this is better than typical zone. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to protect the sticks. Because if you protect the sticks out of a man-match defense, it's going to play like a regular cover 4 zone now. It's going to spot drop. It's not going to match the coverage. And now watch what's going to happen. The corner route is going to get wide open. That's the difference. You see how wide open that is? That's the difference between man-match and playing regular zone. Is that if you're playing regular zone, this basic flood concept that people have been using in Madden for over a decade, no zone defends this concept. It just gets open every time. But now with man-match defense, that's not going to be a problem anymore because, as you can see, I see again. Now, I mean, of course, the corner route's not there. He picks it off. But again, that quarter flat ran up the field. So that's something I'm definitely going to make sure to talk to the devs about that and report it because this is definitely still a problem. He's not supposed to do this. It seems like half the time he defends it, half the time he runs away. But what he's doing right there is bad. He shouldn't be doing that. He should not be running away like that. Let's try it again. You see, that time he gets to the flat. So that's what he's supposed to do, but it definitely seems like there are times where he bails out, so that's something we need to, be aware of. Now, I want to try something else because they said that this is also, the quarter flats in cover 4 quarters is also going to defend mesh concepts really well, which basically just means like 2 meshing routes, like 2 drags. Most people are always saying, oh, it's so hard to defend, drag routes. Let's see if there's a difference here now. Okay, that looks like he completely whiffed on it because, I mean, he's a Falcons player and the Falcons suck. But that was what we just saw there was definitely good, though, because he was in position to play it. He just whiffed on it. You see, he's defending the mesh route here. And let's see on the other side, this quarter flat is also defending the mesh route. Now, why this is important, because, okay, look. As they're crossing the middle of the field, we can't really throw it yet because we have this defender in the middle. And if you're a guy that uses, this is going to be you in a real game. But if not, it's the computer. He's in the middle, so we can't throw it yet. Now, if we throw it right here, sure, we probably complete that. But this guy's going to come down, lay a hit, maybe draw the ball loose, or he's going to limit it to very minimal yards. Maybe you get 3 or 4 yards. If we wait just a little bit later to throw it, which is what most people do, they wait for the drag to actually cross over the hashes, which is what we did here. We try to throw it. He's all over this. Yes, he whiffed, but that's not a good throw. He's all over it. He's all over the other one here, which is very good. And then you see on the outside, we're getting a double team because these are the only 2 vertical threats. So these guys double team. And, of course, again, the Falcons suck in real life. So just like in Madden, they're not going to defend the receiver here. But at least they're, attempting to double him. Over here, they're playing this a little bit better to Michael Thomas's side. So that's good. Let's try it one more time. So definitely seems like a lot of truth to what they've said so far, other than that quarter flat kind of glitching out against the flat routes a little bit, but it looks like they are defending the mesh routes pretty well. So again, see, that time he didn't really defend it so well. I don't know. There still appears to be some like minor bugs with it. Definitely something that I'm going to report to the devs, but the coverage is definitely playing better. It's kind of like taking baby steps with each update. It's playing a little bit better. Let's try to get this over here. I mean, like, he's over that. Like, again, he's whiffing on it, but he's in position, which is good. I mean, the whiffing thing is a whole nother issue. He should be playing it a little bit better. You know, these aren't the greatest defenders in the world, but, you know, they are in position, as you see again. You know, he's sitting on top of it. He's sitting on top of it, and then, you know, they're double teaming on the outside over here. So that, I mean, that's good to see. Now, let's check out one of the new formations in the game, which is going to be the split back. So we got split pro, we got split slot, we got split close. This can be found in the West Coast and the balanced playbooks only. So just looking through it, you see here the ZN play that has like that little post route that's really good, that like is almost unguardable. Power O looks good. Got halfback draw. So the passing plays look okay. You got off tackle, halfback belly. We go here again. We got another power O. We've got fullback belly, halfback inside. Some okay passing plays, nothing crazy, just kind of a fun formation. Got a screen. Then we got split close, another halfback, fullback belly, halfback draw. We got a halfback sweep and a power O. Got some motion stuff here, auto motion plays. So decent, but let's check it out. Let's just kind of run through it real quick and let's just see. So, okay, first thing right there with the run, that's a very slow handoff. I don't know if all the runs are like that. I did see, actually, I saw Master Gamer on Twitter say that the handoffs were slow out of this, but this seems like that's too slow. Like, that's almost like unusable. Like, this is like way too much of like, it takes way too much time for the quarterback to hand this off, which pretty much makes it impossible for you to be able to do anything with it. At least this particular run does. I mean, and that guy seems to always come off the edge. So that off top is not very good. Let's check out the fullback belly. And same thing. I mean, that's an extremely slow handoff. I mean, that's handoffs like that are that slow are not typically going to work very good in Madden. And the blocking does not seem very well on these. So let's just switch out real quick to another. Let's go to split. The split close under center. Let's try the sweep. If they're all this slow, then I mean, yeah, this is kind of a damper. Now there we were able to get to the outside and make somebody miss. That's the first successful run we've had, and we had to make somebody miss to even get yards. Like there's never, like, you can't just like look at this. The blocking is terrible with this formation. That's kind of a bummer because having a new formation in the game, especially split backs, which is, you know, was kind of a really cool formation years back before they took it out. You know, it's kind of a damper if all the run. I mean, if all the run plays are that slow of a handoff, I mean, it's kind of a useless formation. Like I've already seen enough out of it. Unless they're going to speed those handoffs up, I mean, you can't really do much with that. Now, some of the passing plays, maybe, you know, but when you're under center, if you can't run, I mean, that kind of just kills everything for you right there. I mean, like this play right here looks cool. A little auto motion, got hit. Got a lot of auto motion plays. Like maybe if you're already in the West Coast or the balanced playbook and you want to mix in some passing plays out of this, just like throw in like little plays to kind of keep your opponent off guard. Like this play looks cool. Passing wise, yes, you can use that to like just sprinkle in different plays to kind of just come out with something new every so often, and your opponent's like, oh, what's this? I haven't seen this yet. But to actually run an offense through this or try to run the ball out of this is just, I mean, that's not going to happen because those handoffs are so slow that you can't do anything. That's honestly unfortunate. Hopefully maybe they can speed those up somehow. Let's flip sides real quick because I want to go look at a couple of other things. So they said that they fixed cover 3, and they said that cover 3 would match the PA crosser routes better and play those. So I really want to look at that now. So let's see. Trey Y flex, PA crossers. Let's actually just back up a little bit too because it is like a very deep crossing route. So these type of crossing routes now should not work very well versus cover 3, they said specifically. I'm just going to spy the defensive ends because I want to make sure I have enough time to complete this. So let's see if anything matches this crossing route. So that is good. The linebacker did match it, but something you're going to have to keep in mind here, if you got a Julio Jones out there or a Tyreek Hill, you better make sure you have a good linebacker out there. Now, this is Demario Davis, this is a pretty speedy linebacker, and he got toasted. So see what happened here was, you see how he's backing up into his vertical hook, and this is what I was saying in the other video where they're trying to make the defense react better. Because in old Maddens, this guy would just stay right here. He would just spot drop to his zone and stay here instead of saying, hey, I need to match this route now. I need to it's my responsibility to carry this route to the sideline. And that's why it was always so hard to get stops on Madden, because there was no logic to what their players were doing. They would just say, okay, I'm going to this spot and I'm staying here no matter what happens. But now, you see, he's carrying this route. Now, Julio Jones does beat him, as he should, because, he's arguably, he's top 3 receiver in the league versus a linebacker. He's a freak, fast, size. I mean, so yes, he's beating him. But the fact that he's matching him is good. So let's back out. Let's go to a formation and get a cornerback there. So let's see. So like the dime, if we go cover 3 out of dime, where's the cover 3 at? Okay, cover 3 buzz press. Let's see. That should make a difference. Let's check it out. So let's see where that hooks on. Okay, that's still a linebacker there. So yeah, I think there's always, in a cover 3, that's always going to be a linebacker. So that still could be an issue. While yes, he is matching the route now. I mean, he's matching it kind of late, to be honest. Like, to me, that his reaction time is too late. I just don't know. I don't know. Like, cause look what I'm seeing here. You see, like right here, he should already be like turning and running. I feel like if he's trying to match this, like, see, by the time he turns, like that's it. You were toast. I don't care if this isn't Julio Jones. I don't care if this is the worst receiver in the league. If you're turning right here, you're toast. You're not getting there. So, while it is matching it, I don't see it being better. I still seeing it be something that you have to use or defend. Like, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to even slide him, like, all the way out and just see. But, most people aren't going to do something like that. See, he still shoots to the inside. I mean, that's huge. Blocks are there. But you see, Julio Jones had him destroyed again. So, let's just put a different receiver there just for the sake of argument. We won't even put like a top guy there. We'll go put Marvin Hall. Okay, so if Marvin Hall just absolutely dusts him too, then, I mean, that's kind of all we needed to see. So, cover 3. Let's see. Cover 3 buzz press. Even baseline. Let's see if Marvin Hall cooks him. I mean, yeah. Marvin Hall cooked him. So, still, I mean, it's a fix, but it's a step in the right direction, I should say, but it's not at all a fix. Let's see cover 2, because at cover 2, this outside cornerback, this is Lattimore right here in a vert hook. So let's see how Lattimore would defend this. So if Lattimore can't defend this to Marvin Hall, then, I mean, that's a done deal. He don't even try to defend it. So, cover 2, I don't know. So, to me, that still looks like it's going to just absolutely abuse cover 3. But let's try one more thing. Let's try cover 4 quarters, because I think cover 4 quarters might defend it. So, let's see. But that's still besides the point, because cover 3, they said in the patch, is supposed to defend it, and it's not. So, let's see what happens here. I mean, he got burned there too. But keep in mind, when you run cover 4 quarters, I recommend putting cornerbacks at safeties, because they're going to man up. So safeties typically don't have good man coverage. But you see that's better coverage than the cover 3. The cover 3 had no shot. The cover 3 was just getting ran past. Now, let's say this isn't really as viable in regular teams, but if you're an ultimate team and you can get 4 good cornerbacks, if you got a cornerback here with 90-plus man, if you're putting Patrick Peterson right here, he's going to defend this, because the only reason that there's even any separation here is because this is Von Bell. He's not a good safety on the game. He does not have good man coverage, and he's not, like, particularly that fast, I don't think. So he's not that far off. If you had like a good cornerback here, this would be defended. So cover 4 quarters will stop this route, but you need to have a good cornerback there. But it doesn't, to me, it doesn't look like cover 3 is the answer. So that's basically it. That's about all the main things I wanted to test with the patch. Overall, I would say that good things are the block shed defense is definitely fixed. The cover 4 quarters for the most part looks really good. It's still a little buggy, but it looks good. The cover 3 matching the crossing routes does not look very good to me. It looks like it's not doing much of anything. The split backs does not look good because the handoffs are very weak. Now, I didn't test out the 3-3-5 odd crossfire because honestly, that blitz doesn't really work that good in practice mode from my experience, so I'm not really going to bother testing that out. And that's kind of something we have to play the game longer. It remains to be seen if that's truly fixed. And the scum kick, I honestly don't even know how to scum kick because I've never bothered learning because I think it's scummy, so I never did it. But I'm pretty sure that that's fixed. If they said that the kicking is fixed, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say I'm sure they were able to do that correctly. So overall, some stuff's good, but there's still some stuff here that doesn't look good. So I'm gonna have to talk to the devs and see if they're aware of some of these things. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I usually don't do this. I try to do something different, do like a patch breakdown. So if you like this video, if you enjoy more videos like this, definitely drop in the comments below. Let me know. And as always, I will see you guys next time.